Today's culture is all about stuff, more material stuff, more on our calendars. But what does that equal? More stress, less fun. So what's the key to ditching some of that stress and adding in more fun and more peace? That's exactly what's coming up on today's show. So stick around to find out the answer. I am Dr. Scott, and you're watching Coffee with Dr. Scott. This is the summer edition. We're a little bit more relaxed around here. Happy Friday to all of you watching live this morning. And if you're catching me on the replay, make sure if you leave a comment, you comment with a hashtag replay for me, so I know you're watching on the replay. And I would love to know your answer to today's question of the day. Would you rather go 30 days without a phone or 30 days without television? So put that answer in the comments down below. Would you rather go 30 days without your phone or 30 days without a television? And that is a tough one for me. I think always in the past I would have said 30 days without television just because I could go my whole life without television. I'm really not worried about it. I've tried to cancel service here a few times. It just never quite goes over with the rest of the family. You can tell who runs the show around here. Taryn says television. Kenneth says television. Normally I would have said television. If you remember on vacation, I just went 10 days without my phone, and they were 10 good days. And then I got back and I had to go on and do a work trip. And so I took my phone with me, and the whole time I was wishing I didn't have my phone. So I might be changing my answer because of the experience that I've just had here recently. And I'm still trying to find a way to do everything I need to do on my iPad so that, obviously I still want to do what I do. I still want to take care of my clients, but I need to have that access. But the phone is just incessant. And I'm kind of big these days on not texting and driving or having a distraction while I'm driving. So I don't want my phone with me. I want the iPad because I know I won't pick up an iPad and start texting on a huge iPad. I feel like we can handle everything. I feel like I'm actually more efficient if I get to my iPad, open it up, take everything that needs to get done, then close it down and leave and focus, which is what we're going to be talking about here today on the show. So I think I might change my answer. I would go with a both, but that's never an acceptable answer to me. I shouldn't say that. Usually both is my favorite answer to everything. But in this situation, it's a question of the day. We're supposed to have one answer or another. So I'm going to go with phone this time. And I really am looking to get rid of it. It's one of those things like I bought it and I feel like I should use it, but no, it's just more distracting to me. So I'm going to go with phone and then answer whatever your answer is. Put it in the comments down below, please. So again, would you rather go 30 days without your phone or 30 days without the TV? Let me know in the comments down below. So Dennis joining me this morning. Thanks for stopping by there, Dennis. I was having a conversation with a potential client just yesterday. And I thought that the topic of that conversation, because he's been watching the show for a while, and he didn't kind of know this about me, so I figured I should put it out there. Something I should share with everybody on the show. Obviously, I coach chiropractors. I do it one-on-one for those who don't know. I'm very kind of tuned in and intimate with my clients. The fact that I've actually been to their practice and I know the inner workings of it. But my approach is a little different from most other coaches and consultants. Oh, a lot different, truth be told. Most coaches want to coach clients for years. It's recurring income to them, so why not, right? They figure if they get a client, they should keep them on for years and keep giving them, a little something new. There's actually a scary little secret in our industry of how they try to overload you with information so that you'll think they're giving you so much, even though you don't take advantage of any of it. So you'd stick around so that you get that recurring revenue. It's the way I was taught when I learned coaching. It's just not something I like. So more often than not, when a potential client and I are talking or chatting back and forth about my program and how I coach, it eventually comes up somehow the time frame. This particular potential client was talking to me about their goals and what they'd like to accomplish. And they talked about a past group they were with, and they mentioned that, they feel like they can accomplish this in 2 or 3 years. That was the timeline for them. That was the timeline their other coaches set up for them, is if they keep making these small incremental progress over a period of time, that over 2 to 3 years, they should be able to get to where they want to get to them. And I had to stop them, and I had to explain something, which is what I'm about to explain to you. I'm not your typical coach. Now, would it be awesome for me and probably better for my business to have that recurring revenue build up from having, hundreds and hundreds of clients that stay for 5 or 10 years? Well, yeah, that'd be great. But that goes against everything that I do in the way that I work. Every course that I've developed, the way my initial practice evaluations are set up. The regional masterminds, this is the way I coach, is strategically designed to create massive growth quickly. Not in 2 to 3 years, not in 5 years. My goal is to work with a client for less than a year, typically 4 to 8 months, because I want them to launch their practice fast, not slowly over a long period of time. You know, and it's funny, some people see my ads and they'll troll and put some funny stuff in there about like, oh, you can't grow that fast, or just make fun of something that's different that they've never heard before. I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Kennedy, but one of the things I used to like that Dan Kennedy used to say is, you know, everybody's afraid of a get-rich scheme. He's like, I'm afraid of get-rich quickly schemes. He's like, I'm afraid of get-rich slowly schemes. You should be able to do it quickly. You should be able to grow quickly. It's just about learning something new and trying something new and jumping to that next level like I always talked about. So if you've been thinking about hiring me as a coach, or you've been watching me, because again, all the calls I get lately are like, oh, I've been watching you for like 5 months and I don't even see your name on this thing. It kind of scares me. Kind of creepy. Anyway, so if you've been thinking about hiring me or talking with me about coaching, if you have some questions for me, I want you to know that up front. I'm not the coach for you. If you want a coach who won't get you results for years, who of course would want that coach. We don't think about that conceptually when we're talking to a coach. We hear what they say and we're like, oh, that sounds good. But I think growth in 4 to 8 months and hanging out at a level is a lot better than that slow growth over 2 to 3 years. So if you do want a coach who will get you results fast, I'm your guy. And I'd love to have a quick chat with you about my coaching and what your goals are and how I can help you reach them quickly. I'm going to put a link in the comments. So if you'd like to schedule a chat with me, it's super easy. No pressure. It's quick. Just click the link down below. It'll set you up on my calendar and set up a chat with me right after a show next week or the week after. But let's get to the topic for today's show. Everywhere you look, the TV, which we just talked about not getting rid of, social media on your phone, which we talked about maybe getting rid of, podcasts, books, we're constantly bombarded with the mentality that more is better. I mean, think about it. Multitasking is seen today as this golden virtue to have. You know, we have more technology, we have more stuff than any other period in history, obviously. Even most of us are on our phones, have 4 or 5 screens worth of apps. I see my daughters, but they're teenagers. But most of my clients, they're looking for an app and they're just scrolling through all this stuff that they have on their phone. I have one page, by the way. One page and 4.5 folders. I guess it's 5 folders, but the one's very limited. Just the things that I need. That's just me, though. But again, most of us have 4 or 5 screens worth of apps. Things to distract us. Games to play while we're sitting around waiting for the dentist or whatever it might be. As a society, we're told over and over that more stuff, more material possessions, more activities to fill up the calendar will bring us more success and more happiness. But in all honesty, more isn't making us more successful or happier. It just brings us more stress. It brings more financial problems. It brings less time. We have less time than ever before for things like taking a walk with our families, sitting on the porch, listening to birds, enjoying a morning cup of coffee, and just relaxing. Because now when we do have downtime or relaxed time, our brains are so used to multitasking and just being on the go, go, go all day long that it's hard to shut them off. You see people, and again, I see a lot as I'm traveling through the airport. I mentioned earlier that I'm really big on not texting and driving right now. I'm also really big at not texting and walking through the airport. So if you're that person, please stop because you're going to run into me. You can put your phone down while you walk to the next gate. But I see the people there and they all plop down in a chair and the first thing they do is pull up their phone and it's just most times a distraction. They don't have time to think. They don't have time to enjoy the person they're next to. So what's the answer? What's the key to actually having less stress, more peace, and more happiness? Well, the key is simple. It's to simplify. That's the answer. So you might be thinking, okay, all right, Dr. Scott, that sounds good. But how do you actually do it? Well, here are my 4 keys to simplifying. Just 4 little things that you should focus on. I would say daily, but especially right up front. And once you start to focus on them and they become into habits, you don't have to focus on them anymore. So 4 keys. Number 1 is to purge. Go through every room, every closet, every drawer, every place in your house, and attack each one with both a trash bag and a box or a tote or something like that. Trash the junk. And if you really believe you're going to sell or give away stuff rather than it sit in your garage for trunks or trunks for months at a time, then the stuff you don't need or want but is in good enough shape that you can sell it or give it away, put it in the box to give away. So trash all the trash, put everything that you think you want to share with somebody else through whatever way in the box or the tote. And I guarantee you, once you've finished with this, and yes, it could take you weeks to go through every room, every drawer, but once you're finished, you'll immediately have more peace and less stress. I was actually talking with a friend about it yesterday, just at the pool. I just mentioned that we're actually pretty good with our kids' toys, but they keep getting more. Grandparents just keep giving them more. But we always have this process where every couple months we go through the toy room and move what they don't use down into the basement where we have a second toy room. And then down the basement, probably every 3 or 4 months, we clean that up and take it off to Goodwill. But it still just tends to accumulate. So I'm saying do this once first. Go through the whole house and get all that stuff out of there. And again, you'll instantly have more peace. You'll instantly have less stress. You won't be as overwhelmed trying to find things, You won't spend as much time cleaning or maintaining the stuff that you have. Your brain won't be subconsciously freaking out over the piles or the closets that are just jammed full of stuff, You don't have time to get to it, so you just put it over there in a corner and just sits there, and every time you walk past it, you're like, oh, I need to do that. That'll all disappear for you. Oh, look at Tyler says his wife and I started on Sunday with their basement. They got 2 dumpsters full already of getting stuff out of there. You're actually moving, so that's a great process. I think when we move, it's a great time to purge, right? But I want us to do it on a more regular basis. All right. Second, first one, purge. Second, learn to say no. Most of us are conditioned to respond with yes to everything. We want to please people, even if we don't have time, and even if we don't want to do what we're being asked to do or what we're being asked to attend. Start making a conscious effort to pause when you're asked to commit time to something. Ask yourself if you really have the time, or if it'll just add more stress to you, and if you truly want to do it. You'll start seeing your schedule lighten up a little bit, and you'll stop having so many of those moments where it comes time to go to something that you really didn't want to go to in the first place, and then you're dreading it and you're miserable. And when that schedule opens up, unfortunately, it is our nature to want to fill it back up. Don't. Leave a little space. Make a little vacuum there where you can spend some time doing things that you actually love to do, as opposed to things that you're being asked to do or committing time to. So say no to things. Third, put down the phone. Now, please do not yell at me in all caps in the comments on this one until you hear me out. Technology is important. I mean, I run my business with technology. I have another vacation coming up in August. We're going up to Minnesota. Everybody knows Minneapolis. We're going north of there. So if you know, I just came back from darn near Canada. It's just kind of where we go on vacations. But it's a cabin in the woods, and I was telling someone about it. Oh, that sounds great, especially, if you're unplugged. I'm like, you know what? I can't be completely unplugged. I do have to run an internet-based business. So I love technology. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying, go completely off the grid and never touch a phone or computer again and, grow your hair out, stop using deodorant. That's not what I'm saying. Just make a conscious effort to put it down at times throughout the day. Turn off the notifications. That, I think, is a big one, and it's been great for me. Just leave the phone alone for a little bit. Don't be afraid. You also see people, anybody, if they set their phone down for something, as soon as they get up, they're grabbing that phone, right? I'm in my house a lot more, but it's okay to leave your phone there for an hour or two. It's not going to hurt you. But especially when you're doing something with the family, especially when you're just doing something that's fun for you, a hobby or something you enjoy doing it, make it a priority to shut it down at times so you can really enjoy what you're doing. And you're not stressed out by those incessant notifications or checking something. If you really think about your time of your brain going back and forth, you're hanging out with kids and all of a sudden you get a little beep and you check it and you're like, oh, I got to take care of that later. And you put it in here, but now it's in the back of your head and you're taking care of your kids. Get rid of all that. Make bigger batches of time. When we talk about productivity, we talk about batch time, right? Doing one thing for a certain period of time. And that should be the same for your family. It shouldn't be, you're dealing with your family, or you're having dinner and you're distracted by something else. Set it aside, turn it off, put it away. I guarantee you it will give you more peace in your life and a lot less stress. Number 4, I'm going to sound like your mom and dad here, but stop buying stuff, or at least so much stuff. And this one probably is not going to bring instant peace and happiness. It'll actually do the opposite for a while, especially if you're a big shopper. For a while, you're like, I want that thing, and usually I would just buy that thing, and now I'm holding back. I'm showing discipline, and that's uncomfortable. But most of the crap we buy, we don't need, and we end up not even caring about a month later. In fact, I read it on blog last week. The guy was actually showing a graph of your happiness when you buy something and how you get this little bump of happiness. But afterwards, it turns into the stuff we talked about in the purge section. So you get this little bump of happiness from buying something new, you enjoy it, and then it goes down, and it actually becomes more of a something to maintain, something else to focus on later on. So it actually hurts your overall happiness in the long run, even though it helped you with that little bump before. Same friend I was talking about yesterday with clearing out toys. That's the reason we were talking about it, is how kids are with like, I have to have this, I have to have this, I have to have this. And you give it to them like, this is great. And then the next day, they don't even know where they put it. A month later, you find it in a corner somewhere, and they haven't played with it for a month, and they just got it, right? We're the same way. We make fun of kids that way, but we're the same way with our toys, whatever they might be. So instead of impulse buying, or buying because something's on sale, or because we might need it, start making a list of the things you need or want. Then wait as long as you can before actually buying them. My wife and I, just on vacation, we just made a list of things that we think we need around the house, but we agreed that none of it is getting bought soon. We got to decide if that's something that we really need. We also put together a little budget account that has to get to a certain level before we can buy anything anyway, and then we got to make a choice with it. So instead of just running off and buying it on a credit card, we're making this decision that we got to see if we really would need it or want it there. So wait as long as you can before actually buying something. You'll start to notice that what you thought you needed a month or two ago, you never really needed. You just thought you did. You'll save money. You won't be cluttering back up your home or your garage, which means more peace and less stress. Once you purge, you don't want to put more stuff in that space. You want to create some space, create some margin in your life. So those are my 4 steps to simplifying. And simplifying can do wonders for your mental health, can do wonders for your productivity, and absolutely better for your happiness. So if you want to put these into action, but you don't want to go back through and watch this entire show again and listen to me babble, or you don't want to write them down, just comment with 4 keys down below. So the number 4 keys, and I'll send you a free copy. We put together a little PDF for you. I can send it over to you so you can focus on it daily, take these 4 steps and simplify your life. All right. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the show. I see a few other viewers watching us here. Make sure you answer the comment question of the day, which is, would you rather go 30 days without your phone or 30 days without your TV? You will have to go back and watch to hear my answer to that question. But do not forget to subscribe to the show, because next week we're going to start rolling out a lot of exciting announcements. You definitely don't want to miss these. Since summer's coming to an end, and again, this is the summer edition, we're a little more relaxed. As we get back into this and the kids get back in school, you're not going to want to miss what we have going on here for the growth tools we have coming up in August and September. So that link is also in the comments as well. So you can schedule time to talk to me in the comments, but you can also subscribe to the show. I am Dr. Scott. I'm signing off from this Friday edition of Coffee with Dr. Scott for the summer edition. Everybody enjoy your weekend. I'll see you back here next Monday.